Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here, predicting the Monday Night Showdown slate between the Rams and the Bears. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos breaking down NBA, NFL, PGA, and esports daily fantasy sports sites. I do want to say thank you guys again for all the support. It is greatly appreciated on the videos and the live streams as well as on Twitter. I guess the easiest way to support me, since all the content is free, is just leave a like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload videos, you know when I go live. I will be live streaming for this one 30 minutes before lock, going over everything, answering any questions you guys have. Also, if you guys cannot watch YouTube videos, I do upload on Apple Podcasts. The link is in the description below, which is the DK DFS show. But with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So before we talk about players to the prices, real quick, let's go over my lineup here from, it was Thursday night showdown slate, and I went a little bit contrarian here. I never play these showdown slates, big. I usually take them pretty light unless I feel like there's a big edge. So I only entered the big, what was it, $10 or $15 tournament. I think it was, the $10 tournament. I finished, pretty well. I think it was in the top 10,000 out of, like 188,000. So it was pretty solid. I had Evan Ingram in the captain to get a little bit contrarian. That one drop there at the end was a little bit tilting at the end of the game. Paired to him with Wentz and Jones. I like both quarterbacks. I mean, most of the time I try to get both quarterbacks into my lineup just because the floor is so high, unless I think it's going to be like a super ugly game. I went Golden Tate to get a little bit different at his price, Richard Rodgers and Greg Ward. So this was definitely not a safe lineup, right? I definitely got it a little bit contrarian, but it ended up working out for me. So that was a look back. And then if you guys watched the live stream today, you probably did really well. I gave you guys my cash core for the main slate, that being, I actually gave a lot, all but 3 spots. Normally I don't do that, but I gave you guys Kamara, Giovanni Bernard, Jamal Williams. Sure, right, all were pretty popular. And then Devontae Adams, who went crazy, Keenan Allen, and the Redskins defense. So I don't want to toot my horn too much because all those guys were really, really popular. I know I didn't go that way myself. Again, I'll talk about it more, I guess, in the first look for Week 8. We'll go over my main slate lineup. But I have the Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Lockett stack, which is going really well right now at halftime. So I'm excited to go watch the second half of that. And yeah, since I didn't make a video for this for the Sunday night showdown, but if you guys ever have questions, like, you can hit me up on Twitter. I will give you guys where I'm going and what I like. Someone asked what's your insights. I said I want to jam in Kyler, Hopkins, Wilson, and Lockett. And I took a shot. The guy that I took on a shot at captain was Chase Edmonds to kind of make that work. So yeah, again, if I do not make a video for some reason, you guys can always hit me up on Twitter. I'm very, very happy to get back to you guys. But let's talk about this slate now. So, and we have a millionaire maker too. A millionaire maker first. That was kind of out of the blue. I did not expect that, but always exciting. And if you're going to try to take it down solo, obviously you're going to have to get different somehow. But yeah, Bears Rams is a 44.5 over under. The Rams are 6-point favorites here in this one. So before we talk about players' prices, let's take a look at the snap counts here for the teams for the last game. So Dave Montgomery is right now the true workhorse back for Chicago. He played 85% of snaps last game. He's getting a ton of work through the air. With no Tariq Cohen, he has a really, really high floor at the moment. Sure, he's not doing a ton on the ground, but he doesn't necessarily need to because of the receiving work. Wide receiver situation here for Chicago. Allen Robinson's going to play a majority of the game. He played 88% of the snaps last game. Mooney, Miller kind of been fighting for that number 2 spot. It's been Mooney the last few games playing a little bit more. They actually played the same last game, 67% for both. And both are at cheap price points. I do like both on this slate. Again, we'll get to them. Patterson played 18% of the snaps. He actually is technically the backup running back for Chicago. He will line up at running back a bit. And then Javon Wims played 20% of the snaps as well. He is at the flat min, so $200 if you want to take the risk. I don't think it's the worst idea. Tight end situation for Chicago. Jimmy Graham's been playing pretty well this year. Surprisingly, he's playing a majority of the game. Played 68% of the snaps last game. Harrison Kempt, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, will play 35. They played 36 and 35% of the snaps there the last game. So I'll talk about both those guys, but nothing really more than dart throws there for those two backup tight ends for Chicago. As far as the Rams, so this is a headache situation and just something you just can't trust McVay. Henderson played 53% of snaps. Brown played 45% of snaps. Cam Akers played 1 snap, 2%. And they said last game, too, that they were going to incorporate Akers even more. And that the previous game, he had 9 carries for 60 yards. So really hard to trust this Rams running back situation. It's on this slate, like, I kind of want to stay away. If I'm going to take a shot, it's going to be on someone cheap. And we'll talk about that with the prices, but it's really hard to trust the Rams running back situation. Wide receiver situation is a little bit more safe, right? We have Kupp, Woods, Reynolds playing a majority of the game. I feel you can feel pretty comfortable with all 3. Reynolds is really cheap, so we'll talk about all those receivers. Tight end situation, Higbee's status is up in the air right now. If he does play, I think he does play majority of the game. Played 75% of the snaps last game. Everett played 50%, so if Higbee's out, we can definitely look to Everett. Now, Draftkings did a little bit, a pretty good job pricing Everett up. He's not like at a huge discount, but all right, let's talk about the players and the prices now. So we'll start at the top, and Jared Goff at 10-4. So neither quarterback is like super exciting on this slate, to be honest, against a lower total game, 44.5, 2 pretty solid defenses. Neither quarterback really has rushing upside. So, are they must plays in this slate? No. But if you're playing for safety, again, if you're playing a cash game setting on the showdown slates, you probably try to get both quarterbacks in there, and probably got David Montgomery since he's a workhorse back for Chicago. That's how I would start my lineup if I was just playing for safety. In 50-50s, head-to-head, stuff like that. I would play both quarterbacks. I would probably play David Montgomery. Now, Goff's price is at 10-4. It's not bad, but it's not like great either. It's just like the quarterbacks, again, they have the highest floor, so I'm fine if you land on Goff. Foles at 9-8 is fine too. Again, neither quarterback stands out as an amazing play. So in a GPP lineup, I don't think you have to play both. Like, you can definitely fade one quarterback here. I think it's possible, especially more on a set like this where it's projected to be a little bit uglier game, 2 pretty good defenses, right? So I probably still would get one quarterback in there in GPP lineups, but I don't necessarily think you have to play both quarterbacks on the slate in GPPs. Again, in cash games, I would. In GPPs, it's not a necessity. And who do I prefer with the quarterbacks with Goff versus Foles? I feel like Goff's going to be a little bit more popular just because he's had bigger games so far. So give me Foles, but that's not really a strong take, and that's more just ownership for GPPs, right? Now with Allen Robinson at 10K, he's a guy I feel pretty comfortable with. The targets will be there. 9, 9, 13, 10, 16, and 9 targets. 10K is a fair price point for him. He's a guy that definitely can break the slate. And if you're building GPP lineups, a wide receiver or running back is in the captain about 75% of the time in the winning lineup. So Al Robinson is definitely a guy I'm considering at this price point. Just the floor is really high with him, and the ceiling is also really high. So gotta like Allen Robinson in there, even at 10K. The 2 Rams receivers with Kupp and Woods. It's always kind of tough to differentiate these guys. They're very similar, with workload, targets, right? I personally usually give the edge to Kupp playing out of slot over Woods, but this is almost a coin flip you're going to make me pick. Both are going to play majority of the game. The targets will be there for both of them, right? Woods last 4 games, 6, 7, 5, and 10 targets. Cooper Kupp, 10, 7, 8, and 9, right? So you look at them on paper, they're very, very similar players. And they're almost identical price points. If you're going to make me pick, give me Kupp. He did have the bad game last game. Maybe that lowers the ownership a little bit. But I like him slightly better out of the slot than Woods, but it's almost a coin flip there for me for both the 2 Rams receivers. Now, David Montgomery, I like at 8-4. I feel like he's a really, really safe play. I know he's not done a ton on the ground, averaging about, 3 yards a carry. But it's just this receiving down work, right? 6, 8, and 5 targets the last 3 games with no Tariq Cohen, and he's just playing like the majority of the game. So kind of game flow independent right now for David Montgomery. Now, for the last couple of years with him, it's just been, you don't really want to target him because, they have Cohen for third down backs, and if you think they fall behind, they kind of phase him out. Well, he's playing, again, basically the entire game. So I think David Montgomery is a very, very safe play at that price. Henderson is the most expensive running back here for the Rams. I don't feel good about it. It just feels too pricey for a guy that they have 2 other running backs, and we don't know what the share is going to be, right? I think Cam Akers probably gets more work this game, but you just don't know. They have Malcolm Brown as well, so it's just a situation that it's almost a guessing game. And do I want to pay 8.2K for a guy that could get limited, right? If Cam Akers is playing well, Malcolm Brown's playing well, they will limit Henderson. So I don't feel good about it at this price. I feel much more comfortable going to a guy like Montgomery, who is the true workhorse back, than Henderson, who's the Rams have 2 other backs. So that's my thoughts there on Henderson. I'm not going to go to him on this one. The tight end situation, Graham, I know he's been playing well, but 7-2, it just feels a little bit too much. Now, that doesn't mean he's out of play. I think he is I think he's a bit overpriced, but again, the ownership probably will be lower. He's a guy they've been looking to in the red zone. The targets have been pretty consistent with him too, 10, 5, 5, and 8. So I don't hate Jimmy Graham. I just think he's slightly overpriced on the slate. But it's, again, he's been playing well. If you want to, continue to ride this hot streak with Jimmy Graham, I don't hate it. I just think, the price is a little bit too much. Higbee, and we got to keep an eye on this. He's currently listed as questionable, dealing with that hand injury. He's expected to play. If he does play, it's just like, I'm probably not going to go there. Besides I think week 1 he had the big week, or it was week 2 we had 5 catches and 3 touchdowns. But besides that, 2, 3 catches. They have Everett too that they will utilize as the other tight end. I'm not overly excited about the price on Higbee. The 2 defenses, so I just wish they were cheaper, like 5-6 and 5-2 for defense. It just feels a little bit too much. This definitely is a game I like the defenses look better because it's a lower over-under, right? And both defenses are pretty good with the Bears and the Rams, but I don't want to pay 5-6 or 5-2 for a defense. For single entry leagues. If you're making a lot of lineups, sure, you can throw the defenses in your player pool. But if you're a guy playing the showdown sites single entry, I can't recommend either defense at this price. There's too pricey. Now, Gerald Everett's at 4.8. I think he's okay if Higbee plays. If Higbee misses, that is a pretty big boost. I think he would play a majority of the game. He's a decent pass catching tight end too, so this is kind of dependent on if Higbee plays. If Higbee does play, I'm just like, Everett's probably a little bit overpriced. If Higbee misses, I think Everett looks like a pretty decent play at his price. Now, the 2 other receivers here for the Bears, in my opinion, I think they look like nice plays. Mooney's at 4.4, and we have, where is he? Anthony Miller at 2.2K. Both played 67% of the snaps the last game. The 2 games before that, Mooney's been out-snapping Miller a bit, but now we get the discount, right? Anthony Miller is now $2,000 less than Mooney, or more than $2,000 less, so it's a tough one. I do like both. If you're going to make me pick, I'll take the discount on Miller, just because I think they do get similar work, and he's more than $2,000 cheaper than Mooney, but I think both are in play. Both aren't probably going to break the slate, but I think they make for nice value plays on this slate. So Mooney and Anthony Miller, 2 guys I'm looking to for value for sure. The kickers are definitely viable, right? I always talk about it. Floor, about 5-15, ceiling-ish. So with both at 4K, or Santos at 3.8, Rams kickers at 4K. Yeah, they're fine, right? If you want to go there, that's perfectly okay with me. I think you can go to use a kicker in a GPP lineup, right? Because they do have some upside, and this is a game that could get ugly. Maybe they rely on the kicker a little bit more. So yeah, you can definitely include the kickers in the player pool. I never have a strong take, but both are definitely viable here. Malcolm Brown at 3.4. It's so hard to try to guess what the Rams are going to do with the running backs. Again, they have Cam Akers too. I think he does get more work this game, but how much more is in question? I don't know. It's just I put my hands in the air, right? Brown's in play at 3.4. He doesn't have to do a whole lot to get you there. He's been a guy they've been targeting a bit. The passing game, 6, 2, and 4 targets the last 3 games is good to see. So, yeah, he's in play at this price, but it's just, again, hard to trust the Rams and the running backs. Now, Reynolds at 2.8 is, I think, a pretty nice value play here, right? If we go over to the Rams receivers, he played 83% of the game. So, sure, he probably doesn't have as much upside as Kupp and Woods, but the discount is, like $8,000 or whatever is like $6,000 difference off of those guys. So, I do like Reynolds for cheap play as well. I think the value plays look pretty good are, the other receivers, the 2 other receivers for the Bears, right, in Mooney and Anthony Miller, and then Josh Reynolds for the Rams. They look pretty good value, in my opinion. Below that, it gets to kind of dart throws here. We have Cole Kempt. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Did have 2 catches and a touchdown last game, but nothing I could really recommend with confidence. Backing up Jimmy Graham. They have him, and they have Harris as well. So, yeah, you can include him in the player pool, but nothing I can really, again, recommend with confidence. We have Harris as well here, DEMETRIUS Harris at $400. He has had 3, 2, 1, and 3 targets. He's been targeted like a decent amount here. He's almost the flat man. Like, yeah, again, you can consider him for sure. Cordell Patterson's at 1-4. He will get, maybe a couple carries. He's a guy that they can target too as a receiver, but not going to play a whole lot. Again, you can include him in the player pool because he will get some work, about 20% of the snaps, I would say. Cam Akers is the big question mark here because, okay, so this was 2 games ago. He had 9 carries for 61 yards, and this is the message, right? Akers, blah, 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 is slated for more work in week 6 after a nice performance. And, well, he had one snap. So this is why I say it's impossible to try to trust McVay and what he's going to do in this running back situation. You can consider Akers at 1K. He does not have to do a lot to get you there. It's just, what is his workload going to be? After 1 snap the last game, you're not going to feel good about it, but I think he could get more here. So you can consider Akers as well, but it's kind of uneasy. And that's about it. Like, Jefferson will play a little bit for the Rams. He did, I think, only played 5% of the snaps last game, but previous games he played a little bit more. Again, $800. He doesn't have to do a whole lot, but not really something I'm confident with either. And I think that, I do want to talk about Wims too, I guess. He's at the flat min. He played 20% of snaps. You can consider him too. $200. He is the flat min. But that's it for the player-by-player breakdown. So, again, for cash games, guys, I think this is where you would go. I think I would play both quarterbacks with Goff and Foles, and probably Montgomery. And then, you can probably try to get to, I would probably try to get one of those top receivers as well of Robinson, Kupp, and Woods in there. So that's how I would start with a cash game lineup. For GPPs, again, like 75% of the time, it's a running back or wide receiver in the captain spot in the winning lineup. So guys you can consider, obviously the top wide receivers. Right? Robinson has enormous upside. Both Cooper Kupp and Woods do as well. I do like Montgomery. He's the running back I feel the most comfortable with on this slate because of the workload, and he's getting a lot of usage through the air. And then the cheap wide receivers. I think you can consider guys like Mooney. I think you can consider a guy like Reynolds and even Anthony Miller. Right? They don't have to do a whole lot to get you there. And let's just say we use Anthony Miller in the captain. Right? That's 9.3K remaining. You can get basically whoever else you want into your lineup. So if you feel, I always go over this, but if you feel pretty comfortable with a value play, use him in the captain, because then you can just jam in whoever else you want into your lineup. So that's always a viable strategy. I will talk about more roster builds, cash GPP in the live stream, go over that. So that's why it is important to check out the live stream, guys. But and again, I will be live 30 minutes before lock on my YouTube channel. But thanks again, guys. I hope you have a good day, and I will see you guys all tomorrow in the live stream.